Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play RGFX Kaiserreich as Canada. Let's continue on for the last off. So Quebec is in turmoil. We've enacted the War Measures Act, and of course we're going to control the House of Commons. Why would we not? Full authoritarian mode, here we come. So, we have a bunch of political power, and we're going to need to do that to kind of suppress everybody, right? Yeah. Suppress. We can only suppress one person at a time? Okay, well, never mind. I thought I kind of wanted to suppress everybody. But unfortunately, that does not seem like it's going to be the case. And I did choose to suppress, I guess, Quebec City first. So what do we want to research? Huey Long's been assassinated. And I believe because Huey Long is dead, the CSA rises up. Even though I think it should be the other way. Like, if Huey Long's dead, the South should rise up. That makes more sense. But I believe we are going to be getting a war with the CSA soon. We should keep our options open, of course. We want to attack ASAP, claim some territory for ourselves. Submarine detection, fleet in being. I think we want fleet in being. We'll get that started right now. Militarist revolt in Paraguay. Not too worried about that. Yeah, nobody likes the king right now. All hands on deck. 2% recruitment population? Oh, that'd be very nice. Thank you. Once we're actually at war with the Union of Britain. Okay, so there is the CSA. It has risen up. And there's now a standoff in America. But typically, like, a two-way civil war is pretty one-sided. Situation in America. The government is becoming alarmed with the rapidly developing crisis in the United States, particularly in the rise of the Socialist Party of America. A syndicalist-aligned nation on our southern border would be unthinkable. The violence is already terrible to the point that numerous state governors in the American Northeast, lacking confidence in the federal government, order, have asked us to step in should the war break out. You have to answer the answer. I believe everything's good. Everything's fine. But I would like to invade ASAP. Also, I have noticed that I did not ever actually put any admirals in charge here. 4-4, 4-4, 5-4-2-2. Got a little bit. We'll get you. Infantry expert. Now, of course, you got to put good old Bernard Montgomery in charge. What else would you have? Where are you guys even going? Oh, Minnesota did rise up. Okay. So, you have 20 days till you're done. Americans at war has not fired because I think it fires, I guess, as soon as the war actually breaks out. Control the House of Commons. And I'm thinking, do we just immediately assert the royals in charge? Or do we begin to, I don't think the American Civil War is going to last too long. I think we are going to intervene, take over the Pacific Northwest, not the Pacific Northwest, the Northeast here. New England, I guess, is sometimes called. Just like generic upgrades, I think are pretty good. I mean, being able to get naval bombers to deploy mine laying stuff, I think it's also like really nice. Because the mines are good. We're actually importing. We're doing way more naval techs than I'm actually used to. But we will see how this goes. We won't add in Chief of Staff quite yet. I mean, group population is always nice, but I think let's go for a an artilleryman this time around. We have 1938 divisions. The United States only has 4 to 19. So the war is going to be a little bit closer than I originally had thought. I'm sure the United States is still going to win. Just by the fact they have more men. Or not more men, but more land. They can probably fight significantly longer. Well, okay, it's 1937. I still don't really believe any new techs really become available. Like, we can probably start the research speed upgrade here. And we now control the House of Commons. It's 30 days, so they're going to declare war on each other soon. Oh, it's more than 20% support. And I do not have more than 20% support. I have exactly 20% support. Actually, I might have slightly less. I have 20.08. As far as I know, that's a bigger number than 20, but sure. Immediately, we're going to try to intervene. And of course, we're also going to take over New England. Thank you, New England, for the support. We left Reconciliation War in Liberia, the most important thing you could possibly do. And there's demonstrations across Canada. The purge of opposition in the House of Commons and the end of the debate has caused a wave of protests across Canada, with large demonstrations in Toronto and Vancouver filled with people calling for the government un-Canadian and suggest King Edward is using the protest in Quebec as an excuse to grab power. This is un-Canadian, said Mackenzie King at the Toronto protest, and solely moved by the desperate British government to force Canada's complacence when it is most vulnerable. So far, RCMP has been able to keep the demonstrations from turning violent, but anger amongst Canadians is running deep. So how do I get it to be 21%? Because apparently 20.08 is not more than 20. Panama seizes canal. Join the Entente, Panama. And of course we're going to move in. We're going to take over Alaska as well. Panama join the Entente. Lovely. Growing our faction by the day. Thank you, Panama, for being a good friend. And the French have already begun to move their troops into the region. I don't know why exactly France would send troops here, but I guess I'm not really complaining. I'm just surprised that I didn't see it coming. We can easily probably, like, blockade. I mean, the Americans should be able to blockade any CSA imports. Like, they only have one port. So I'd imagine it wouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, we do got some more. We need more motorized. So let's put 2 in the motorized, 2 in the tanks. Also some free dockyards. A little bit more in the convoys. 257 isn't really a ton. And 2 days we'll have suppressed you. One of the following must be true. Complete a focus crossing the border. Does not have divided nation. Does not have crippling strikes. Do I have divided nation? I don't. Okay. What if I... Controls at least 25 states. How many states in control? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, they'd have to own like half of the United States for us to actually intervene. Argentina comes to us to a bargain. Severely hit by Black Monday and forced by Germany to swallow a tough pill to save their economy. The government has come to us to strike a New Deal agreement. I mean, However, they also stole the Falkland Islands at our moment of weakness. We get slightly less consumer goods. No, Argentina. No, we get slightly less consumer goods. Or we can demand the Falkland Islands. Let's demand the Falkland Islands. That's exactly what the British exiles would do in this point in time. Parliament has begun a tense debate over whether the Canadian government should recognize at least one of the warring factions in the South as the real America. Tricky situation. I mean, there's only one. Being worse prospects, so-called CSA, winning the day. Okay, I mean, we will definitely side with the federal government, obviously. Is there anything we can do to boost party popularity? Yes, we can solidify control. It's going to take 180 days, but will it get us over the threshold to actually invoke the last point here? ISIS South crossing the border. I don't want to reinforce anything, I just want to attack them. I don't want to I don't think I want to get rid of New England quite yet. But, you know, let's eyes to the south. Like, Pennsylvania is looking pretty exposed right now. Refugees flood into upstate New York. With the situation in America worsening and no surprises, the Dominion of Canada has become a top destination for those fleeing the violence. Many of the immigrants are legal, but in an increasingly large number are not. Already from several refugee camps in upstate New York, many of them are coming into Pennsylvania. Their numbers are putting a strain on our supplies. American refugees, the irony. They have, how many men do they have? They have 9 divisions in New York City? Seems like a bit much. Oh no, because they're raising the militias. Right, that makes perfect amount of sense. I mean, the CSA cannot win the war overall. Like, they are going to lose given enough time. But I would like to intervene sooner rather than later. Popularity of the king right now is abysmal. They really do not, they don't like us. Which is not surprising. How many rifles do I have? 2.8 thousand? Not enough to give any to the United States. I'm sure they're fine. At least for the time being. We want to suppress more Quebecois? Press them in Montreal. Decisions available. New technology. It's 1937 still. Excavation 2. They really intervene in the Civil War. Are losing ground. We have to still cross the border, which I think we're doing now. No, we're doing ice to the south, and then we do crossing the border. I don't know if the United States is going to be on the losing end, though. I think... I mean, does it a check mark right now? Does not control more states than every other faction. Okay, so we could just do the thing, just join up with the United States and invade. To me, that seems like a pretty good option for us. Trade with America. The mini Canada relies on a great deal of trade routes that grows to the United States. While the Civil War has benefited us in some ways, namely the order of the Canadian goods from abroad has decreased as the American sources have become unreliable. The fact that many of our exports have always gone to America itself, our biggest customer is now unreliable destination. Production efficiency cap minus 20%. Oh, beautiful. So, another big reason why we'd want to actually intervene. Apparently, we're not allowed to trade steel with the Russians anymore. In fact, we're not allowed to do much of anything. Which, understandably is kind of hampering our industrial power somewhat. Let's send troops to volunteer right now. It's only 3 men, though. I'd rather just keep my troops in position and immediately just march across the border in about a month time. Like, once we do crossing the border, just immediately invade. Addressing the army. mean, you're actually just a generic land doctrine. War technology, organization, 10%. Pretty good. And bonus towards infantry equipment. You're for tanks, huh? Okay. I honestly think that we can kind of ignore Operation or Project Plow. And my reason for thinking that we can kind of safely ignore it is I'm sure like the French Republic is just going to do it on their own eventually anyways. There's still some sabotage going on in the north. That is fine. And we have 143 days so we can get some more control. Philip Snowden is dead. Yes, the leader of the TUC in good old Union of Britain. Who's actually in charge over there? We got syndicalist, and radical socialist. So everybody's just a little bit boring. What is Ukraine doing? Ukraine is getting some free trade agreements. Nothing too crazy going on there. At least not quite yet. The Baltic War has happened, but the Baltic War honestly doesn't matter in any real capacity. We'll cross the border. Like, I would like to get the United States into the Entente before World War II even begins. Or the Second Weltkrieg, I guess. Going to be more technical. Spanish Civil War has begun. Of course, our support should go to the Carlist. But also, like, I would rather just intervene in the American Civil War ASAP. Have our allies send troops into this region. We'll defeat the CSA as soon as possible and then ship some support to the Carlist. I mean, if they ask for supplies, I'll say yes. And, like, most of the time, what we're really worrying is that just we want CNT to lose. As long as CNT loses, we're in an okay position. Yes, we have 19 more days so we can suppress here. We gotta do it 3 times, it looks like. Three times per area. Clashton, Windsor. The city of Windsor lies directly across from Detroit, the stronghold of the syndicalist combined states of America. When suspected for a while now, the syndicalist agents have been crossing the border secretly, some with refugees, and now it seems the belief has been vindicated as the city being engulfed in clash between industrial workers and the police. The police say the sympathizers are being spurred on by syndicalist agents. Whether this is true or not, the violence has continued for several days and only now just is being contained. They're doing some damage to our factories. Stay over there, Detroit. Don't come into Windsor. We do not want you here. Like, I'm sure the CSA will not actually know what's about to hit them. Like, how many men do you have? 62 to 133, 30 to 82. Like, clearly they need some large backing. Unless we get completely destroyed, which would be ironic. Well, I mean, maybe not ironic. Ironic's not really the right word for it. It'd be kind of funny if we just get our shit kicked in by the CSA. It's not impossible. And there's been some bombing in Montreal. Why is everything bad happening? I understand I just basically create a dictatorship, but still, be a little bit nicer to me. I find it incredibly rude. Okay, we got a motorized division. Please deploy to this front. Like, I'd rather you be, like, kind of in this general direction. Because New York City... I mean, next thing, see if we can get these Marines just to go into, Philadelphia. And it shouldn't be too difficult for that to, work out. Like, I imagine the United States at least has naval superiority in this region. If they don't, then they got some sort of a problem going on. And we could just release New England. Because we do... feel like the garrison these areas. Low stability, base value, compliance, civilian oversight. Like, why are you resisting us? I understand that's kind of like the game mechanics. I don't know if the Kaiserreich devs can really stop that. But still. Seems a bit much to me. But I guess it's a good reason for us to do the New England question as soon as we can. So we have 3 months until you are ready to go. So you're 2.5 years. Naval mine avoidance, you know what? That's going to be proved. That's going to be useful. For sure. It'd also be useful if we could have some more steel, but I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. So, let us do the New England question. And can we just... We can't just immediately intervene. I'm going to save because I'm a coward. So in 30 days, we will intervene. Peru and Ecuador have ended their war. The looming war. Prospect of intervention in the American Civil War is the entire nation terrified. If it happens, it means that battles could be fought on Canadian soil for the first time in over a century against an opponent that could very well overwhelm us in sheer numbers. We must be at the ready. Well, we're about as ready as we possibly could be. You can see Chile is supporting these guys somewhat. Well, the French Republic actually sent troops to go help out with the Kingdom of Spain. And not the Carl list. Interesting. A few more days till New England exists. I don't think they're going to start off with any troops. Mexico showing the Third International. Oh, the Baltic Duchy capitulated. Well, that's definitely a hit to the German Empire. Not a huge one, I think, but one that is definitely still there. Portugal and Mozambique are now at war. Haiti and the Dominican Republic are now at war. CSA, you're getting a little bit too powerful. Oh no, the AI knows that I'm wanting to attack them. A dangerous situation to be in. Got 2 more days until you have now formed. Yeah, we're definitely going to set up the provisional government. You can draw the line over here. And I think this is going to be a good time to end this episode. Just 9 days until we actually are at war with the CSA. We'll see how that one goes. But thank you everybody for watching my Anthem. If you've enjoyed, my thumbs up. Not enjoyed, thumbs down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.